Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Crackling the Curriculum Code in Early Childhood. I'm your host, Joanne.
And I'm Jessica.
I'm Tanusha.
I'm Divya.
I'm Simpoyan.
I'm Yuling.
In this episode, we'll be discussing and analyzing 6 key issues affecting early childhood curriculum planning. Let's dive in.
So let's start with something that's all teachers know, KSPK, which stands from Curriculum Stated Pride Sekolah Kebangsaan. And what is KSPK? It's Malaysian National Preschool Curriculum. It provides teachers with a list for what children need to learn.
But there's a problem. Many teachers feel like they have to follow the KSPK like a checklist, ticking every box. That was make the teaching stiff, strict, and, well, not fun. There's no space for the teacher to be creative with the lesson or follow what the children are curious about.
Yup, it reminds me of a teacher I met during my internship. She wanted to do a science project on insects because her students were interested in bugs. She was worried that it wouldn't fit into KSPK's schedule. So, in the end, she had to stop the project to stay on the KSPK schedule. From that, it makes me realize how important flexibility is.
Yeah, it's true. It's important to accomplish learning objectives while also making room for children to explore what excites them. Because children learn best when they are interested in what they learn. But when we are too busy following a weekly plan, we forget to ask an important question. What do the children want to learn today?
So, the research by Siraj Bradford and Siva 2004 say that when teachers are too focused on wanting to finish up all the topic, it makes the children too confused.
A solution is to use the KSPK as a guide and not something we should strictly follow. The lesson and activity should be fun and flexible while meeting the goals. For example, use themes, project or games-based lesson.
Exactly. For example, if the topic is water, we can do like a science experiment, drawing picture, tell story about river. All that activity can help make the learning curriculum in a creative way.
Something that every teacher notices in a classroom setting is that every child learns and develops differently. Some child might learn fast, some might learn slow, and some might learn best through hands-on experience. So let's do a role play as an example.
Teacher, I hate writing. Can I draw?
Of course, you can show me what you learned through drawing, okay?
Okay.
That is an example of a child using drawing as a way to learn.
That's why we need to use different method or strategy to teach. It's called differentiated curriculum. It's an approach to teach that adapts the content, process, and the product of learning to meet the learning profile of our student. So, for example, let's say the topic is animal. For content, some children might read a picture book while others watch a video. For the process, one group might do animal puzzle while the other play a sound matching game. Then for the product, children can choose to either tell a story or act out their favorite animal.
So, that an example of differentiated curriculum. To summarize what Joanne said, the content is what the children learn while the process is how they learn using different ways, and product is how the children show that what they learn.
Yeah, in Vygotsky, Zone for Maximum Development Theory, or ZPD, it says that children learn best when the lesson is challenges enough, but with a built-for guidance, they can do more than that could on their own.
That's why ZPD and differentiated curriculum work well together. When educators use different teaching methods based on their child's needs and give support, they can make progress at their own pace.
Every child is unique. When we have that in mind, learning became more interesting and fun.
We all know that children don't learn alone. The people around them, especially family and communities, plays a huge role in their learning. That's why we must include them in curriculum planning.
Yeah, but the truth is some parents want to help but they don't know how. Others parents are busy with work, some only show up during sports day or when it's time to collect their report card.
Yes, but teacher can still try simple ways like sending update through WhatsApp or using small communication book. Even quick message can make parents feel involved.
Yeah, there's research UNESCO 2018 said that when families are involved in early education, children tend to do better in school. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. I know a teacher who always invite parents during language week. Some of them come in and tell story in their own mother tongue. You just see how proud the kids are, especially when they heard their home language in school.
There's such a beautiful example for teacher to do, and don't forget the community too. We can invite people like nurse to talk about hygiene or a firefighter to share safety tips. It brings real life into the classroom.
When families and communities work with us, learning becomes more meaningful and it makes children feel safe and valued.
This podcast break is brought to you by Inclusion Station, where every child is welcome, every culture is celebrated, and every voice matters. So hop on board to Inclusion Station, where kindness is the ticket and every stop is a chance to learn something new. Back to the podcast.
Now, to a very important topic, inclusivity. This implies ensure that each child feels included, regardless of their background, the language they use, or their learning style.
Yep, exactly. Some children communicate in various languages. Several children might have disability. Some might come from unique families and culture, and that's what brings excitement to a classroom.
Educators can create a warm and welcoming atmosphere in their classroom for all students, put up posters in various languages, play music from around the world, and celebrate holidays such as Lunar New Year, Eid, Christmas, or even its student's birthday.
During my practical, a girl who had just moved from Syria was quite silent during story time because she didn't speak any English. The teacher encouraged her to share words from her language and started including picture books in Arabic. She gradually gained interest and started contributing more actively to class activities.
According to research by Sodor Manning 2013, learning is improved and a sense of belonging is fostered when teachers value their students' native tongues and cultures.
So, here's our point. Each child belongs in a classroom regardless of background. Inclusion is not an additional aspect, it's a core principle that fosters significant change. And when everyone feels like they belong, learning becomes much more fun.
Now for our last two topics, teaching strategy and planning. We all know that children don't learn the same way and they have a hard time sitting still for long periods. That's why it's important for lessons planning to match with what the children are learning. Educators should keep in mind that children's attention span is short. So having break time between lesson or activities is very helpful to children to stay focused.
That's right, children have a hard time keep their focus on one time, so educators can have game between lesson to improve their attention span, like hands-on activities.
Or outdoor playing is also essential. For example, nature walk to explore and learn about nature. It enhances their observation skill and their ability to learn different texture.
And team-based learning. If the team is animal, teacher can read animal storybook, do craft like making paper masks, or even play animal sound game. These help children connect different skills to one fun topic.
Yes, and teacher can use music in the classroom. Simple song, rap game, or even a quick dance break can make lesson more fun and help the kid remember what they learned.
Another strategy is storytelling with props or puppets. It keeps children engaged, encourages imagination, and helps with language skills. Plus, you can turn it into a group activity so everyone gets involved.
Exactly. And while planning is important, we also need to be flexible. Sometimes when things don't go as a plan or maybe the kids lost interest or the materials run out, having a backup plan is important, like a storybook or a quiet game can really save the day.
That's true. Also, reflecting after every lesson helps teachers improve. Think about what worked and what didn't and what the kids enjoyed most. You can even ask the kids what they liked, and it's a great way to include their voice in the planning.
To sum it all up, great teaching strategy comes from knowing the children, being flexible and keeping learning fun and active. Whether it's through music, nature's walk, or a puppet show, there's always a creative way to make lesson meaningful.
For the last part, let's talk about one of the most exciting ideas in early childhood education that also happen to be on trend right now. Emerging trend. Because with every challenge we experience, there can also be opportunity for change. Early childhood education is evolving.
A big thing is the introduction for technology into the classroom through the use for app, table and even digital storytelling.
So there are some fantastic apps like Khan Academic Kids or Endless Alphabet, which will help to promote early literacy and maths. However, finding a balance is important. It is essential that technology support learning and does not become the learning, and children still need sequential hand-on play and social interaction.
Which is why play-based learning is coming back in big way. Teachers are moving away from a rigid approach to academics and focusing more exploration, creativity and play.
It is so good for their mental and physical health. It helps to build confidence and problem-solving skill in a natural learning environment.
Now that's the end of our podcast. In this episode, we explore 6 key issues that shapes early childhood curriculum planning. So let's summary what we all taught today.
We started by talking about KSPK, Malaysia National Preschool Curriculum, and how teachers use it as a guide, then instead a checklist.
Then we explore how every child learns differently, which is why differentiated curriculum and understanding theories like Vygotsky, ZPT are important.
Inclusivity and family involvement are also important. We shared how embracing different cultures, languages, and backgrounds can make a classroom more welcoming and meaningful.
We also highlighting teaching strategy like game-based learning, outdoor play, hands-on activities, and having a plan that adapts to children's energy and interest.
Let's have one last quiz before we end our podcast. What are the 3 parts of a differentiated curriculum?
Content, process, and product.
Correct!
Thank you everyone for listening to Cracking the Curriculum Code. We hope you learned a lot today and feel inspired to make a better place for our children.
See you next time. Bye!